Cowabunga, y'all. Welcome to part 3 of this series. That's, again, a surprise. But without further ado, let's get into this part.
Are you recording a video right now?
And damn it. The 8 turtles go into the Technodrome to save their Splinter, to get Splinter back. And they do their surprise, it's a trap, and they get strapped to the outer wall of the Technodrome, or that room within the Technodrome. And that's when we see every incarnation of the turtles. Pretty much from up to that point, we see glimpses of the Japanese turtles, which is a really weird Easter egg there, but some fans know about the Japanese line that happened within the figures and within the TV show. We get the animated series. We get the comic book animated series, multiple of the comic book series that like different volumes that came out, and we even got the '90s turtle show up there as well, which was really cool to like see like them moving. And every single still that was there was it was a picture, but they kind of like slightly moved within animation, which was really well like worked for this scene and was really well done. And I really liked it. And then the 4 turtles, they're about ready to get blurry, but Karai's like, Father, what's going on in there? There's a massive spike. And we obviously can kind of tell that she saves the turtles before they get pulverized, or was there going to be much of a movie. The 4 turtles look like they got evaporated, but the Technodrome gets teleported, and then the 8 turtles get sent to the crater at the bottom where Casey and April meet them up. And the 8 turtles go, we gotta go get some weapons to go infiltrate, to go save our world. And they start running, obviously, to go to... Need to go save Splinter from being captured from the Shredder. They run up there into a Technodrome. Of course, it's a trap. So then they get trapped on the walls of that one room. And that's when we see stills of every single iteration of the Turtles, more so comic book side, and they're like stills, but I do like how like they're like slightly moving, like their hands are like moving, or like they're like it's really nice, like animated style. Then all of a sudden, of course, they all get vanished. Technodrome gets teleported back to Turtle Prime. We can see with him dissecting all 8 turtles to find Turtle Prime. And then all of a sudden, like, the 8 turtles somehow survive. And we can actually say that Karai was the one that saved them, because she was the one that worried about the spike. And throughout the whole series, she's had a weird relationship with Shredder and with the turtles, because she respects the turtles and will do anything to help them out with whatever they need, but at the same time, she is the Trump's daughter, Shredder's daughter, adopted daughter anyway, so it's really cool to just like see her character still going. Each one of the characters do keep going. But as they're in the crater with Casey and April, they're like, alright, we gotta go get some weapons, and they start booking it, jumping over the rooftops, as the whole 2003 series did with jumping on the rooftops. Which I've always thought was really cool, how like the turtles just ninjas and just top from rooftops and stuff, just going underground, which was really cool. And then when they get to, as they're going, they start seeing an amazing. I just love this, like this whole shot, like scenes of the world getting erased, because it is just like straight up like, oh, here's like the fully colored drawing of the world. Oh, now it's in the black lines and white. Oh, now it's in that blue outer lines, like the rough drawings of the scenery, and then it's just white, paper. I thought it was really cool how like they did that, and they of course get to Purple Dragons, have to fight Hun again, but then Hun goes, no, save this world, because if the Shredder is truly that crazy, gotta save him. He gets erased, and every single character that got erased, like Casey April and Hun, it's always like it brings tears to my eyes every time they get raised because it's like, wow, this is way crazy. Then all 8 turtles just teleport back to Turtle Prime or the original comics, which again I love. I love the stylistic of it because it has like that dots similar to Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which I'll get into at the end of this with the comparisons and things like that. But because this was the original Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse film, even though Ninja Turtles did it before it, like years before too. This came out in 2009, which is crazy. But they fight, and I love how as when they're back in time, back in the first issue, as the Technodrome is destroying things, and that's what is destroying all the other worlds. That's actually like a really cool idea. That it's like actually like the Prime. You harm that, then it's gonna harm everything else because we all know that's history from the very first comic to new ones. So of course, like if you destroy go back in time and destroy the original comic book, none of the other things would exist. And they kind of play with that a little bit, which was really cool. Loved how Ultron Shredder turned big and started fighting, and also we got giant Krang again in his android body, and they're just fighting, tackling it out. And I love how Bebop and Rocksteady, how they're kind of in the background for most of the movie. They still had their roles as they typically do, and they're always just want to please the master, like Shredder and things like that. And of course it's just really funny how they goofballs. And I love the scene where the 4 classic turtles are just on the thing, yelling for Shredder's attention. Leonardo's just narrating the whole time. It's really great, just like in the comic books. They really use that style to their advantage. And then the 84 Shredder just appears, and all the other turtles just start throwing trash cans at him just to kind of don't deal with him, just because he did die in the first issue. I thought it was really funny, a joke. But continue with the ending of the whole climactic battle. I love every second of it. Every single turtle did their own thing, fighting style, talking and things like that. And then they defeat Shredder because of the beam comes back on because of the Bebop and Rocksteady, and they finally kill that Shredder. However, I did note that this time, Splinter does say that Shredder might return back, which has me hope that there might be another chance or another episode later on or a film later on that uses all these turtles again. Because we've seen in the 2012 series that they've used the 87 turtles again for that series. So I'm hoping that we get another Turtles Forever 2 later on down the road with another global thing with all the other properties that have come out since 2009. I think that would be cool because it's now 2020, so 2009, so 11 years later, it'd be to have that going on. It'd be cool today. Oh, I did note that when they arrived to the classic Turtles background, there's a bunch of lightning, and it's to make it that much more intense and dark, which all the aesthetics that they did for the whole movie for each incarnation of the Turtles was just, in my opinion, amazing that they were able to do what they did during this 2009 time. And then since the classics were even so edgy, they scared the Shredder, which I thought was really funny. Or it was just kind of the Shredder hates the Turtles so much that you just can't handle them. So I just thought that was a really cool scene that they did. And then obviously ending 84 Turtles jumping off from the rooftops, kind of like it did in the very beginning and in the comic book, jumping up from the rooftop saying, "We are the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles." Absolutely love. Quote, "We strike hard and fade away into the night." Absolutely love that phrase that they used throughout the first issue and in this movie and throughout other incarnations, I believe, too. One thing I did note that Amazon Prime did do that I absolutely don't like, but it's not necessary. They did cut the final scene away from it because it just cuts when it goes to straight to the credits right after the turtles jump, saying that line. But in the actual ending, where the four kids ending, it kind of like zooms out of like the comic book page, and it like shows like the work table that Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird have been working on within the first issue, and they go and they talk, like you can hear them talking in the background, saying, "Oh, hopefully this sells. Let's go get some pizza," and that's how it ends. I love that. It just brings it full circle. Like it brings even further circle, even to like our own world. To like look back on and be like, that's actually really crazy that these two guys just created this whole world for us. So that's why I'm like kind of sad that like happened within the anime, and that's why I'm happy that I have it right here on VHS. I'm very happy I have it on VHS. Hopefully one of these days it comes out on Blu-ray, because Nickelodeon, you gotta put these on Blu-ray, because we're missing the Back to the Sewers season, and a lot of the other episodes within the 2003 series is just not there. And there's the back for the movie if you guys want to see it. So, which I really do like the cover and things like that, but still, that's something too. Like looking at this doesn't look like the art style of the Back to the series. It is very much the early 2003 drawings with like the more rounded and things like that. So that's kind of like off-putting to me anyway, but I like it, but still, would have been cool if they kind of had it. Even like the 87 Turtles are their licensing drawings instead of the actual cartoon drawings, but I digress. So, all in all, within this whole movie, I absolutely love it. It is I'm really biased with this movie because I did grow up with the 2003 series. And to me, this was like the best conclusion that you could do for that series. So I would give it a rating as a fan. This is... Whoa, dude, that turtle's got a beard, man. Look at that thick beard. It's the biggest beard ever. I'm so glad I took this whole ride to this finale. That's what I'm going to rate it. Now, I have to compare it to other things. That, like I said earlier, within this whole, like at the very beginning, this movie wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for the 2003 series, because this is the ending. This is the 25th anniversary, so it just kind of comes at the end of everything so far, and it's like watching Infinity War Endgame instead of watching any of the other Avenger movies before it. So to me it is like the best Ninja Turtle movie. However, if you're just getting into it, I do recommend just watching the 90s movie, because that is technically the best Turtles movie ever just to get into, but this is my favorite best Turtles movie ever in that sense. And to compare it with Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, yes, I have it over here as well, because this came out a few years ago. They did a really good job with that movie, and it was very much its own movie. It had allusions to what came before, things like that, but it can still pretty much be a standalone. However, this Turtles Forever movie is like it's the same style, but yet it is kind of more of that bookend, which is kind of a weird thing. And to be honest, Turtles Forever, in my opinion, does better than Into the Spider-Verse, just because it is the ending of a series, but it's just because I grew up with those characters way longer, and it was much more of a payoff than Into the Spider-Verse. Now I'm excited for Spider-Verse 2, and I love Spider-Verse. Like that is like actually like the top 3 best Spider-Man movies, and like top 10 of my favorite movies of all time. Turtles Forever is probably like top 2, top 3 probably, just because it interchanges with the 90s movie a lot for me, just because how it is. And then I didn't mention it earlier. This movie happened, and then also we got the 2012 series, and then they did a few episodes of the crossovers of the 87 series and the original Mirage. Now, they were able, for the 2012 series, they were actually able to get the original voice cast back, which was really cool to see. And I'll actually probably play a clip of like Krang's voice actor from the original to this one, and then 2012 right here. And so yeah, like that voice actor is like, it's different between this movie and Pat Fraley, who played Krang in the original and in the 2012. So it's really cool that like the voice actor in my head kind of sounds similar to Pat Fraley from those two incarnations for this movie, which is why I absolutely love like the voice actors for this movie, even if they weren't the originals. And then another thing I have to compare to is the style that they did of the Mirage Turtles. Actually, back up. The 87 Turtles, I don't like the animation style in the 2012 series, because it just feels flatter and it feels more off. And I think they did a very good job at recreating them in this movie compared to that. So there would probably be a side-by-side comparison right here for you guys. And then third comparison I would have to do is the 2012 series and this one with the Mirage style, like with the Mirage comics. As much as I love how this movie did like the Mirage Turtles and things like that, to me it seems like a different entity than the Mirage Turtles, because the 2012, watching that and then watching this one, the 2012 does it to where it's much more comic booky. Like they're actually in like the pages. It's like actual like sectioned off by scenes. The drawings, I think, in my opinion, are actually way more accurate. Oddly enough, to the original Mirage, probably because they probably were able to get Kevin Eastman to do like the drawings and things like that, which is probably what they did, which is really cool. But for what this movie did, they did a really good job at what they could do, and it's just interesting how we got this, and then years later we got the 2012 series, which did a similar thing, but the drawings and like the voice actors were different. It's just interesting how like you can compare them side by side, because they're not one for one way to do it or anything like that. And we see that with not just the Turtles universe, but also the Spider-Man into the Spider-Man universe. So it's really cool. And another thing too with 2012 that this one does differently is this one keeps like the drawing style for the characters, like no matter what dimension they're in. However, the 2012 series, since it is CGI, they actually bring the 87 Turtles into CGI style, and then 2012 into the drawing style, and then even in the black and white style, which is really cool. So it's different aesthetics, and I think this, for being 2009 and being the end of the series, did a really good job. And when Splinter summons, when Shredder teleports the Utrom Shredder back to Earth, or to Technodrome, right before Karai comes in and everything like that, Krang actually asks, "Hey, can we get a Krang of this Earth to come?" And they couldn't find any actual Krang from that iteration. As much as that is true that the 2003 didn't go that route of Krang, and it was they just kind of left Krang out, and Shredder was the Utrom, and they went the Utrom route. There was a Utrom, clear back in season 2, episode Secret Origins Part 3. There's these two Utroms that are walking on their tentacle feet, whatever you want to call them, and one of them says, "I hate walking my feet," and then the other one says, "Oh, shut up, Krang." So there is a Krang, but yeah, there's not a Krang in 2003 universe. Just thought I'd put this little clip right here for you. The scene where they jump out of the portal from the 87 dimension to 2003 dimension was really cool, where the driving in the turtle wagon, in the party wagon, which was just a fun time. They're just shooting at all the mutants and like the mutant army and everything. It's like a full on like actual thing going on like throughout the city. And then you see like Mikey with the Raphael and Michelangelo from the 87 series on a turtle blimp, and all of a sudden they just like start flying. And it was just really fun. It wasn't needed, but the whole scene was just a lot of fun to like actually see, and like see how like their vehicles compared to Dawn 3 vehicles were. It's just a great time. This movie just really is a great time. Yeah, this video is a lot of fun to do. Absolutely love Turtles Forever. Hopefully I'm able to get this done in a reasonable time. There's a lot I want to edit with this and actually like bring up and actually make this into one of my better reviews, like if not the best review I can for this video. But yeah, Turtles Forever is one of my favorites. Be on the lookout, because later on, I'm not done with this movie, so later on I'll probably do a more of a comparison movie, more of a comparison review to it. I'll probably do when I do like the season's review of the Turtles, I'll probably do this as like another review within Back to the Sewers as a whole, and then I'll probably do like more of a breakdown video of this movie as well, just because there's a lot of things I can break down and actually like pinpoint like Easter eggs and things like that. So without further ado, if you like my rambling, if you like my thoughts on this video, on the film, and you want to see more content of this, I've noticed this is one of my highest grossing videos, so please leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and if you guys would be awesome enough to actually like hit like goals and comment goals and subscribe goals, I'd appreciate it. I think this week I'm going to do is have this video hit 5 likes just to start off with and 1 comment. That's all I need for now, but I want to actually build the content up and make it better and better. Again, this video probably takes me a little bit longer than most, but it's the fun of the game. So without further ado, fill the beard and deuces.